Hey everyone, it's Nicole and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to finally film one of the most interesting tags that came out of BookTube recently. The BookTube Oldies tag. It was created by Monica. I'm going to link her channel down below, but I'm pretty sure you know about Monica. She is a delight. I've been on this platform for 6 years now, and I've created about 250 videos. Some of them are taken down now. And I guess I lived through a lot of stages of BookTube. 𝕊𝕊𝕀𝔸𝕃 really explained it well in her video. I'm also going to link it if you have not seen it. I was tagged into this by two people, Katie, whom I started with at the same time-ish, I believe. She reads classics and literary fiction most of the time, which is something I've read a lot when I started, but we're going to talk about it. And also by Adri from Perpetual Pages, who is just a lovely human being. I think I found them a bit later into my BookTube career, but we started at the same-ish time too. Check out their channels, they're still active on BookTube, and I really love them. There are quite a few questions in this tag actually, so I will just proceed. The first question is, how long have you been part of the BookTube community? I've been a part of this community for about 6 years now, maybe a bit more, 6 and a few months. But I always am consciously trying to not count the years because it makes me feel weird, to be honest. When I started, I didn't expect to stick to it. I didn't know anything about YouTubing, about trends, about analytics, about making YouTube videos for other people and not for myself. I started when BookTubing was still mostly a hobby. There was no money involved in it. There were no sponsorships for booktubers. And of course there was monetization as with any other content. But when I started, monetization wasn't that big of a goal for people. I don't want to go with it was a different, more innocent time angle because I don't think it's fair. But it was also different, if we're being honest, because people that joined at the time didn't expect to make money and didn't expect to grow. They expected it to be a very small community, hobby-based, where everyone knew each other, etc. But to my surprise and to the surprise of many, I guess, it grew exponentially. The second question actually ties into it. What was your biggest misconception before starting BookTube? I didn't expect to blow up, that's for sure. First of all, I had a very heavy accent. I sometimes watch my older videos and I cringe. I also have not read a lot of BookTube staples because I was just getting into reading foreign literature. So I for sure didn't expect fast growth. And it's something that changed through the years for newcomers. I definitely expected to find a couple of friends, especially among the creators, which was definitely a misconception. Not to say that BookTube is cliquey. Even in real life, people don't have the capacity, emotional capacity, to have this many friends. So usually we do have a couple or a group that we talk to frequently. Overall, I would say that the community was very friendly, but it was also very small, so it was easier to do. People that had 5,000 subscribers found my channel and they commented on my channel and they liked my videos, which seemed like such a huge thing for me. I don't know if people do that right now, especially with so many new creators joining every day. I definitely don't look for new people because I don't have the time. Sometimes if I have an itch to read something and I need recommendations, I just type something into the YouTube search. So when I got an overwhelming, at the time for me, response from creators that seemed so huge, at the time I thought that 3,000 subscribers is a lot because I wasn't watching YouTube that was not BookTube. And I naively thought that all these people that came to my page want to be my friends, which in hindsight was a very funny expectation because, as I said, these people already had friends. They joined much earlier than me, and they were not really interested in my content. They just wanted to support a newbie. Also, it didn't help that I didn't have any social media. I wasn't on Twitter, I just started Instagramming, which I didn't really like. So these people had no way to socialize with me. Eventually I found creators that I'm friends with, but it took some time and it took some courage to reach out and start talking to them first, which is something that I advise to everyone. If you like someone on YouTube, you have similar interests in books, and you kind of frequently talk in the comment section with, DM them. Talk to them on Twitter. That's how you start friendship. That's also how you collab with other people. Don't expect people to reach out to you and then complain that no one did, because someone has to be the one to make the first moves always. And why not you? So my misconception, I guess, was that I will find a lot of friends among the creators, which was very naive, very funny, and not necessary at all, because I found people that I actually share interests with a bit later, and I also found a lot of friends among my viewers. I think the biggest misconception that people have when joining BookTube right now, in the past maybe 2 years actually, is that they're going to grow in a year to 10K, which is both naive and insulting, because they don't look for people that never grew. There are some people that joined at the same time as me and they barely reached 1K. And it's not that their content was bad, it's not that they posted irregularly. A lot of things contribute to our success on YouTube, and some of these things are still a secret to me and I guess to everyone, because there is this magical algorithm that no one can guess and no one can fool. First of all, YouTube is a visual platform, so it favors people that are prettier by society standards. People that wear makeup. I even notice it on my videos. If I wear makeup on my thumbnail, people click more. At some point a few years previous, I've noticed that if I wear fake glasses, people click on my videos more, which was so funny to me. The way your room looks, the way you dress, your accent, your voice, the way you talk, how funny you are, what's your personality, sound and video quality, all of this can possibly contribute to your success. And there are other things to consider too. What kind of content you do? Is it popular? Are people reading these books? So at the end of the day, no one can really tell what contributed to their success, but charm and personality definitely play a big part. And those are things that I really struggled with, because I do not sound and do not present the same way in the second language as I do in the first. And as you know, if you're subscribed to me for a while, I'm Russian, and even my voice sounds different when I talk in Russian. I also am much funnier, because humor is very hard to translate in another language. So when people come here and say, I'm going to get 10K in a year, it's a bit offensive to me. Not because I think so highly of myself, but because cockiness sometimes can be off-putting for me. You don't really know what's going to happen to your channel when you join. One of your videos can be randomly picked up by the algorithm and you'll get 2,000 subscribers in a night. But it's not something that everyone is going to experience, and it's very random. So my advice to newbies always is to manage expectations. The third question is, how do you think BookTube has changed since you first started? In the past 2 years, BookTube has changed a lot. We saw an influx of new creators. Some of those became very popular very fast because of the type of content they created. It's not a secret that certain types of content are more favored by the algorithm and more favored by the viewers, because ironically the viewers decide what type of content algorithm is going to pick up. So in the past 2 years, not only the community became bigger and more diverse, which is great, but also a bunch of different content was introduced, and some of the older types of content died out. For example, reviews are kind of dead. They work for some people, but they have very interesting styles of reviewing, and they've been doing it for a long time. I think Sam from Thoughts on Tomes is still doing reviews, but people are used to her content and they know what they're going to see in her reviews. She also separates them by spoiler-free and discussion reviews, which helps. Classic reviews transformed into gushes and rants, which is a bit different. And reading blogs, where the person reads the book and tells you about it throughout their reading process. Wrap-ups are still alive, but they are going to be alive for a very long time, in my opinion. Reading vlogs is the type of content that I didn't expect to blow up so much, but I guess people want to see a bit more into the life of the creator at this point. Also, thematic reading blogs and secret TBRs are very popular right now, and I wasn't surprised that they became so popular necessarily because I see a very significant change in what this platform is and what the goal of this platform is. So at first, it was a hobby-based platform. Booktubing was for other people that read books and that are trying to find people to talk about books with and to find some recommendations. Gradually, through the years, it changed into casual entertainment channels. So all the commentary channels that you see about movies, and all the beauty channels that are mostly about entertaining as well now, prank channels, that do games and interactive shit. This is what this platform turned into, and there is logic behind it. A regular person is not going to read the same amount of books that a booktuber reads in a month. So they do not want to see more regular booktube videos because they don't have the time to read this many books and they don't have the energy and desire. But they want to be entertained and they want to discuss stuff that they already read and have some nostalgic feelings about. So all these videos about people rereading older books are very popular, or they want to hear about a book that they have no plans to read. So they want basically people to bash a book for entertainment. For me still, this type of content is a bit icky. It's my personal opinion. I don't want to do that on my channel because I know how much time and effort and how much energy comes into creating a book, and some books are just not for me. So I would mention that I didn't like a book and why I didn't like it in a wrap-up, but don't expect videos from me where I specifically pick up a book to bash it on my channel and do a dedicated video for it. I'm not going to do it because as a person whose hobby is also writing, I respect people that do this far too much, and I know how much writing takes from you. That's my personal feelings on the matter. I tend to not watch these types of videos also because I'm not interested, but we can definitely tell that the content on BookTube changed to cater to a different interest, which is fine because social media is fluid and people come to it for different reasons, and these reasons are going to change over the years. What also changed is why people join and how they approach booktubing. A lot of people are more analytical when it comes to their content. They create to grow, and some of them probably enjoy their content. I cannot get into people's heads and know for sure, but being smart about what you post and posting to grow definitely is a trend. There is another thing that changed the face of BookTube significantly, and it's the popularity of other social media platforms. You cannot get popular on BookTube if you don't have other social media. When I started, you didn't have to have a Twitter. Now, I don't think you can grow without Twitter, which is dumb because Twitter is terrible and I want to spend as little time possible on it, but I just don't think you can grow without it because a lot of people subscribe from Twitter. At least that's what I see in my analytics, and I think that a lot of people got popular on Twitter first and then became popular on YouTube. But that is just what I think about it. My only recommendation for Twitter is if you have it, never express any opinions on it because one day Someone cruel is going to retweet you with a comment because they don't agree on something minuscule, and people are going to drag you. So the only way to survive on Twitter is to never have opinions about anything. Plug your videos, post pictures of your cats, and shut up about everything else, because everything can be misconstrued on Twitter. Everything. What you read, what you don't read, what you eat, what you wear, how you look. Everything. Like, literally everything. The next question is very sweet. It's, what is your favorite BookTube memory? I don't have many memories about BookTube because I'm very separated from BookTube, since I don't live in US or UK, and it means that I don't get to experience a lot of fun things that BookTube grew into. For example, I've never been to any cons or any panels. And it's not that I wouldn't like to, I would actually love to go. It's just too far away, and going to America for a con is a luxury that I cannot afford. I guess my best memories are friends that I meet along the way, are some collabs that I did with other people, but that's about it. The fifth question is, what are some books that you were introduced to because of BookTube? I think I'm going to go with a popular answer and say that all the books that are on my shelf right now are books that BookTube introduced to me. I was a reader when I was a teenager. I loved books, I loved writing, but not on the same scale as I've become when I joined BookTube. BookTube definitely makes you more motivated to read, and it introduces you to a lot of books you've never heard before. The sixth question is, what is something that frustrates you about BookTube? I can rant and rant for a while about things that frustrate me because it's something that I'm involved in and that takes a huge chunk of my life. BookTube has a tendency to recycle drama that is stupid and petty. And I believe, and I always believe, that BookTube people need to grow up, because a lot of the stuff that we discuss is so useless and so uninspired at this point that we all would benefit from shutting up and reading a book instead. Twitter definitely influenced this, and I see a very troubling trend where people that have feelings about certain creators for no fucking reason start looking for things to cancel them for. The problem with it is the creator cannot really defend themselves on Twitter because of the way Twitter is constructed as a platform. The cruelest thing you can do to a person on Twitter is to retweet them with a comment if you disagree with some opinion, a really minuscule and meaningless opinion too. You immediately invite a negativity to their page, because retweet with a comment is confrontational. It's inherently confrontational. There's no space for discussion on Twitter, and I'm not talking about opinions that are specifically posted to enrage other people. I'm talking about actual opinions. Twitter has a very hostile environment, especially if you don't block people. I block people for everything because I don't like them, what they post about, their opinions. I don't like their tone. If I think that they are invested in creating drama on purpose, I don't like this type of vibe on my timeline, so I block people left and right. And if at some point someone will come out and say that I blocked them and that it wasn't fair, I want everyone to remember that everyone can have their boundaries on social media, because we seem to forget about this fact. On the other hand, YouTube is very different. It is much better with boundaries because people cannot take your message, misconstrue it, and show it to their friends through YouTube. They can only leave you a negative comment, they can only leave you a dislike, which actually helps your platform. The thing that I started noticing that started happening recently is Book Twitter, like beauty community or drama community, started capturing bits of videos from YouTube and discussing them on Twitter. And we already established that Twitter is not a place for discussion, which creates such a shitstorm. They also take the discussion that started on YouTube and move it to a platform that doesn't know how to handle discussion, to Twitter. And at the end of the day, it creates something so unproductive and so useless. I wish we had a platform where we actually could discuss things, but I also believe that people don't want to discuss things. They want to be right. A discussion can't happen if people do not listen to each other. And I'm not talking about someone being racist or homophobic or a general asshole towards someone. I'm talking about the pettiest stuff that this platform ever seen. The seventh and the last question is, what is your hope for the future of BookTube? I hope that it's going to continue to grow. I hope that people are going to leave Twitter and then I wouldn't have to have Twitter. I think it's unproductive and it creates a lot of conflict on BookTube that is unnecessary. I hope we are going to continue to give space to people that create original content on BookTube that are not conforming to BookTube rules and that are a bit different from what BookTube is expected to look like or to be about, because I would like to see older people joining BookTube, people from different countries and continents to continue to join BookTube, because I feel like there is actually space for everyone on BookTube. It's just viewers do not always give the same amount of chances to booktubers that are over 35, to booktubers that talk about books that are not that popular on BookTube. I cannot force anyone to watch content that they are not used to. I just wish people give creators a chance. Sometimes we're very stubborn with what we consume and we stick to our patterns, and it's not necessarily positive for us and for our development. I watch a lot of people with very different tastes from mine. I still find their content to be enjoyable, even though I won't pick up books that they recommend, usually. Sometimes I do. This is something that I want for BookTube. I actually like the fact that more and more companies are willing to work with booktubers, and not only companies that are selling books necessarily. I hope that BookTube content is going to become more valuable, but I don't expect exponential growth, because reading is not going to become this huge hobby anytime soon. Those are all the questions in this tag. I think I ranted more than I wanted to, and I'm very sorry, but I just have a lot of feelings about stuff that are a big part of my life. In the comments we can talk about how BookTube changed, what you wish changed, what you want to see on BookTube, because I'm always interested in the opinions of viewers. I think very often on BookTube we make the mistake of creating content for other creators instead of creating content for our viewers. I'm also going to tag some people in the description box and on Twitter. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon in my next one. But until then, bye.